we've been deceived. I've eaten a meat-only diet for 227 days. On June 24th, 2022, I was a type 2 diabetic. I weighed 360 pounds. I was unable to walk without a walker more than 100 feet at a time. I had 3 autoimmune diseases, and I had severe depression and anxiety. Here is a picture of me at the start. My health and my weight were spiraling out of control. I was binge eating. I was eating every emotion that I had. This ended up landing me in the emergency room where I thought I was dying. This put me at the precipice of deciding, am I going to live life, or am I literally just going to lay down and die and suffer until I do? And the choice I made was to live, to stop wallowing in the depression that I was in. After I got out of the emergency room, I came home, I was eating cake literally one day, and I jumped right into carnivore the next. So here's what's happened over the past 227 days doing the carnivore diet. I do want to clarify though, when I say carnivore diet, this for me includes beef, butter, chicken, eggs, fish, any kind of meat honestly, and cheese. As of now, my 8-month journey, I only eat OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. Here is a sampling of what I eat. I have things like baby back ribs. I eat ribeyes with butter on them. I have hamburgers with cheese, obviously no buns. Now the reason I only eat once a day is because I'm so satiated when I eat, I'm not hungry any other time. This also has helped streamline the process of my body being able to utilize my own fat stores for energy. So no wonder I only have to eat once a day. I have plenty of energy stored on me to go through my day. So here's some of the questions I want to address about my past 8 months of my journey. Why I do carnivore, how I stick to carnivore, what's happened specifically around my health and weight, and would carnivore benefit you? I know a lot of people ask me, why carnivore? Why not something else? Well, my first response is, I am a binge eater. I have binge eaten for my entire adult life. I lack the ability to moderate myself. And 99% diets are requiring moderation. But I don't have that in me. One cookie turns into a bag of cookies, which then turns into a binge. I didn't get to 360 pounds because I was good at moderating. As I said, most diets require you have the ability to moderate yourself. A good example I like to use is an alcoholic doesn't drink just a little bit of alcohol, they go crazy. What do? They abstain from the alcohol. I am a sugar carb addict. I cannot have it or I binge. So what do? I abstain from it by doing carnivore. Remove my triggers, and it allows me to address the emotional component of being a binge eater and being an emotional eater as well. What's happened in the past 227 days is amazing. I was a type 2 diabetic. I did not have to take insulin. I was just taking oral medications. As of right now, I have reversed my type 2 diabetes. I have no issues controlling my blood sugars. I've had a handful of off carnivore meals over the past few months, and I have 0 blood sugar spikes. My blood sugar is actually better than my husband, who is slender and does carnivore with me. My weight, I was, as we know now, 360 pounds. Today is my 8 months anniversary. I have officially lost 100 pounds in 8 months. This is huge, not just for the number, but if you go back and watch my original videos, I'm miserable, isolated, depressed. My poor husband had to listen to me every night just talk about how bad I felt. That doesn't happen anymore. I wanted to hide myself. I was ashamed. I felt terrible. I'm a completely different person today, not only physically, but mentally. And along those lines, I was 32 years old having to use a rollator walker because I just couldn't make it around. My back hurt, my legs were weak. I was making it up one flight of stairs short of breath. I can now walk 5 miles in one day. 5 miles in one day without a walker in 8 months. Another big thing for me is I have been depressed most of my life. I have been on so many antidepressants, on, off, you name it. I now have cut my antidepressants in half, and where we live in the Pacific Northwest, it's cloudy all the time. This is a time when most people have problems. I am doing so well. I am weaning myself off, and hopefully in the next few months can get completely off my antidepressants. Considering I'm 33 now, I've literally been on them since I was 12 years old. To be able to get off of the medication will be amazing. I have 3 autoimmune issues. I have RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, and fibromyalgia. It had gotten to the point where moving hurt, any going up the stairs, my hands were really painful. Literally the wind blowing on my arm hurt. It just became painful to live. Now, that is 95% better. I've been able to go back to my hobbies like leather working and just exercising, doing things I want to do because it doesn't limit me anymore. My inflammation is so much less in my body. I am only at my halfway mark. Right now, I still have another 100 pounds to lose. But if my life looks this amazing now, I can't imagine what the next 100 pounds is going to be like. A few other small but really big things. I don't snore anymore. I sleep better. I focus better. I'm not grumpy. And a big thing, this is more around blood sugars, I don't have those crashes if I don't eat every 3 or 4 hours, I feel like I'm gonna faint. I can go 24 hours without a drop of food and not feel bad at all. The only reason I know to eat now is because my stomach grumbles every 24 hours and says to feed me. But other than that, I don't have to worry about going and getting fast food or snacks or anything like that. The burden, honestly, I think this is the biggest one. The burden of thinking about food. When you have an eating disorder, your mind is consumed with food all the time. You're eating breakfast, you're thinking about lunch and dinner. You're eating dinner, you're thinking about breakfast the next day. If you're not eating, you're definitely thinking about food. Gone. My thought around food is, in the morning, what steak am I gonna take out? Set it out, don't think about it till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, cook it, done, no longer thinking about food. I probably think about food less than 30 minutes a day now, when before I thought about food pretty much every waking breath. The whole reason I started my YouTube channel was to, 1, motivate myself, but 2, motivate others, because I'm nothing special, and if I can do it, then so can other people. But sometimes we just need the encouragement and motivation, seeing someone else struggle along the way with us. That is the entire point of my channel. I don't pretend to know everything. I don't know everything for myself. How can I tell you what to do? But if you can get an inkling of encouragement or introspection into what's going on in your life, then that is all my channel is about. So I would appreciate so much if you would consider liking and subscribing to my channel, because the more people I can reach, the more people that, we can help, because I can't actually do this without you guys, and I would appreciate it so much. Here's how I stop with carnivore. I finally realized the reason I failed at every other diet. Diets are only half the equation. Food is only half the equation. The other half is the mental aspect. How and why we got where we got. We don't just eat food just to eat food. There's always something behind it, a traumatic event, an emotional reason, something back there that's causing us to eat it. And that's why I failed every time. I never addressed why. Why or how I got to 360 pounds. And that is the number one reason I have been so successful in this. I have faced my demons, I've shined light in those dark places inside myself, and had to face some really hard truths about life, about myself. It's scary, it is extremely difficult, but when we do that, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like having literally 1,000 pounds lifted off our shoulders when we start confronting our fears. The second thing is recognizing what true hunger is. I had learned over the years that I thought hunger was here. My brain said I was hungry, time to go eat. But I finally learned, no, hunger is in the stomach. Anytime my head says it's hungry, it's always a craving. It is not my body actually needing food. It took me months to hone in on this, but once I did, I realized I was eating way too much and way too frequently for what my body actually needed. The third one is because my trigger foods are gone, sugar and carbs. It allowed me to deal with the emotional part of eating. I didn't eat to live, I lived to eat. Food is sustenance. It is not a pleasure, it's not a feeling. Not that you can't enjoy what you're eating, but life shouldn't be about going to a restaurant. Life should be about being with people, not food. And that's what I made my life about and around, was purely food. I was able to slowly step back and learn and have these conversations with myself to not do that anymore. And here is the biggest one. Forgiving myself and genuinely forgiving and giving myself grace. I have slipped up on the carnivore. I have not been perfect on my diet, but I looked at why it happened and the root reason behind it. This allowed me to truly forgive myself and not beat myself up and then throw myself off the path in a binge because, well, I saw myself as worthless. Grace is a huge part of this. This is not an excuse to go and eat whatever I want and say, oh, I forgive myself. No, it's when I do have those slip-ups. It's okay, Amanda. It's one slip-up. It does not erase everything else that you've done. So, could you benefit from carnivore? Probably, but I'm not a doctor. I've tried things from organic veganism to eating only boiled white potatoes, keto, Whole30, Atkins, Weight Watchers, everything in between. None of those diets isolated and had me eliminate the foods that triggered me. It asked me to moderate. But again, you don't get 360 pounds being able to moderate what you're eating. This is where we've been deceived. We've been told calories in and calories out is the only thing that mattered. Seed oils are good for us. Fats are bad for us. That we only need to moderate our food to lose weight. But if any of this was true, why are people fatter and sicker today than they have ever been? We've definitely been lied to. If you're interested in doing this, come check out my channel. I have videos from 2 weeks from starting carnivore. So right at 360 pounds, and I've tracked everything, not just what I've eaten, but my emotional state, my ups, my downs. I lay it all out. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.
I got any bloopers to do that.
So, could you benefit? Could you benefit?